All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Minnesota Vikings. This team just won't lose. They're currently 12-2 thanks to the 30-12 home victory against the Chicago Bears a couple of minutes ago. They have now won 7 straight football games. The Sam Darnold-led Minnesota Vikings are 12-2. No shade to Sam Darnold. Obviously, he's a very good, capable quarterback. But he was not supposed to play the way he was playing. The Minnesota Vikings were not supposed to be 12-2. And whether you want to believe it or not, this Minnesota Vikings team needs to be taken seriously. You should have already been taking them seriously. But look at the NFC. Who can they not beat? I mean, genuinely, who can they not beat? This is like the most slept on 12-2 team. And I think it's just because people don't really believe that this team's going to make any noise in the playoffs. And I think this Vikings team's going to prove everybody wrong. They're 12-2, 7 straight wins, took care of business against Chicago Bears. And this evening was really interesting because I don't even think Minnesota played all that good. Specifically the offense. Chicago has a very good, solid defense. They actually have a really good, solid defense. They almost came back and beat Minnesota about a month ago in Soldier Field. And as we know, divisional games are always going to be very difficult to play. Chicago's eliminated from playoff contention, but guys are fighting for minutes. Guys are fighting for contracts. Guys are fighting to stay on the team, to gain new tape or get new tape to go to a new team and get more money. Like, there's still stuff on the line for the Chicago Bears, and obviously the most important thing is pride. You're heading into Minnesota, a actual Super Bowl contender, and you want to beat them. And they didn't. And even though Minnesota didn't play the best offensive game, they won 30-12. It was never really close. It was 10-0 after the first quarter. It was 13-0 after halftime. We're heading into halftime. And this team just keeps winning. So you have to take it seriously. So welcome back to the channel. We are talking about the Minnesota Vikings, obviously, in tonight's video. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, along with a couple of Vikings videos every single week. Vikings fans, try and get this video to 300 likes, guys. That would mean the absolute world to me. I'm a little out of sorts here because the Raiders are on their final 2-minute drive here, and I'm going against Brock Bowers, and I'm up by only 3 points here in the fantasy playoffs on the line here. But anyways, let's get back on track here. Minnesota had 24 first downs. They were 7-14 on third downs. They were 329 yards of total offense. They went 3-4 in red zone efficiency, 3-3 in goal to go efficiency. I would say just one thing that really plagued them was penalties. They had 10 total penalties for 56 yards, and thankfully it didn't end up mattering. Sam Darnold threw an interception, but that was not... I was going to say it's not on him. It was on him, obviously, through the interception, but just in the game situation, it was not the end of the world. And it just happens. Sometimes you throw interceptions. If you throw the football 40 times in a football game, you're probably going to make one mistake, or somebody's going to slip, or somebody's going to drop a ball and it's going to go into the defender's hands. But anyway, Sam Darnold, because it was a big thing for like 2 weeks, threw one interception. But for the most part, he was solid, 24-40, 231 yards and a touchdown. The big news was the running game, because Cam Akers had a touchdown, Aaron Jones had a touchdown. They ran the ball 29 times for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns, only 3.9 yards per carry. But once again, as we know, this is a very solid Chicago Bears defense. Justin Jefferson continues to do crazy things athletically. 7 catches, 73 yards and a touchdown. There were a lot of these where, Sam Darnold threw a dot to him, and it wasn't triple coverage because they were in zone, but it was just a crazy throw. It was a great catch by Justin. He had a lot of catches like he does every single Sunday, or in this case Monday, where it just kind of makes you go, geez, dude, geez. Paid respect to Randy Moss after his first touchdown. I think that was in the first quarter. Jordan Addison, 7 catches, 63 yards. TJ Hawkinson, 5 catches, 52 yards. There were some drives that got stalled from Minnesota. They ran the ball well enough. Aaron Jones averaged 4.8 yards per carry. Cam Akers was only 2.4. They were moving the chains. It just wasn't anything too crazy. And, when you're 12-2 and you're in a 17-game regular season, it's not always going to be crazy electric wins. Right, you even go back to Jacksonville a couple of weeks ago. At this point, it was like a month and a half ago. Sam Darnold threw 3 interceptions. I don't think they had a touchdown in that entire football game. Jacksonville, obviously, really bad team. But you're not going back at that game and using it as just like, oh, well, they're not going to do anything in the playoffs because they barely beat Jacksonville. They beat Chicago both times, but, it was close. My eyes, it wasn't that good of a win. The main thing for me is first off, you're well coached. Offensively, Kevin O'Connell, defense coordinator, Brian Flores. Hopefully, I don't even want to talk about coordinators departing. Sorry, man. I'm watching this Raiders game. I'm tweaking out. My fantasy team was 5-9. Somehow I made the playoffs, obviously taking on the 1 seed here. But the defense, you have a great head coach. You have a great defense coordinator, so you're well coached. You have a quarterback who is capable. He's competent. He makes plays. He's mobile. He's definitely super mobile. And you have a really good running back. You have a really good, first off, you have the best wide receiver in the NFL in Justin Jefferson. You have a really good guy behind him, Jordan Addison. You got a really good tight end in TJ Hawkinson, kind of underrated some way, somehow, mainly because of the injury. And your defense is phenomenal. Their defense is genuinely phenomenal. I know Caleb's a rookie. People like to rag on him on Twitter. I don't think Caleb's really all that bad. 18 of 31, 191 yards, a touchdown, 0 interceptions. He's not throwing a pick in like forever. The defense is just that good. They really are just that good. Josh Metellus makes play after play. Blake Cashman was, and I don't know how the rest of the NFL still hasn't caught on to this. Blake Cashman has to be a top 10 free agent acquisition of the summer across the entire National Football League. He's been phenomenal. If you go back to a couple of games ago or a month ago or whatever it was, Blake Cashman missed a couple of games and Ivan Pace kind of had to, try and replicate his role. You could tell. There's a difference when Blake Cashman was healthy and playing for Minnesota, and there was a clear difference when he was unhealthy and not playing for Minnesota. Now that he's back fully healthy, he's just a stud. Jonathan Grenard, forced fumble, strip sack. He also has to be one of the most best case, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not like underrated, because I think people are catching on to Jonathan Grenard's season, and he had a really good year with Houston last season. Just another one of those signings where it's like, geez, dude, they hit on what feels like every single free agent acquisition. Cam Bynum, Shaquille Griffin, Harrison Smith, Bullard, Dallas Turner had a sack today. He's getting back. Gonna need him in the playoff run. Pat Jones has been amazing. Van Ginkel's been amazing. This defense is just literally insane. It's an impressive, crazy defense. And your next matchup on the road against Seattle on next Sunday, 6 days away, and they're 12-2. I don't know. You can have an opinion, and I totally get it, especially if you're a Vikings fan and you're a little bit hesitant. Just a little bit hesitant because you've been burned in the past. I don't see a reason why this team, and honestly, now the NFC North is kind of up for grabs here. Week 18 might come down for not only the NFC North title, it might come down to the number 1 seed in the NFC. And I just will say it, like, if Minnesota is the first seed and they have home field until the Super Bowl, I just don't know why they can't do it. I really don't. That's it for tonight. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We'll see you guys with a more in-depth Vikings victory recap in a couple of days. It's like midnight here in Florida, so we got to get to bed here. And thank you for watching. We'll see you in a couple of days. Peace.